Hi guys, it's me again, Crystal. My phone seems to cut off when I'm doing videos at the moment. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling very well this morning. I've got a really bad sore throat. Um, I'm Crystal. My mum Jennifer has rung me this morning, and I didn't get to bed till 2 o'clock this morning. So I've had, on and off had about 3 hours sleep. I've got up and down, feeling unwell. Basically, I went out with my son to Chatham on the bus. We picked up the bus near Rochester railway station because obviously the trains weren't running here in Rochester yesterday. So I sat next to my son on the bus. We both went into Chatham on the bus. We got off at the bus station, and then my son had to go to a meeting. He and I had a coffee in Greg's the Baker's in Chatham together, and he went off to his meeting and left me in Greg's the Baker's for 20 minutes. My son bought me a Tottenham cake, and he bought me a mint mocha mocha. Very nice it was too. So the Greg's was packed with similar women looking like me with grey short hair and glasses. I had my I'm sexy and I snow it jumper on in there. So I sat opposite my son for a while. He went off to his meeting, and then he came back and we looked around the shops together. I had a small amount of money, not a lot. I needed to put money on my gas card, and we both looked in the works together. The works, and I picked up a couple of bits which I will show you later, Christmas bits, and we also just browsed a few shops, and then we both went back on the bus, the 700, back to Strood, where my son went to work, and I got off the bus and walked up to Boots, the chemist, to get my repeat prescription, my depression tablets, my painkillers, and my iron tablets in Strood. Very nice it was too. The nice coloured gentleman with a bald head and glasses went, "Miss Marshall, I'll be with you in a minute." So he knew my name. He said, "Miss Marshall, I'll be with you in a moment." He was serving two older ladies. One was a coloured older lady. He was serving her. So he was polite. He said, "I'll be with you in a minute, Miss Marshall," because he was serving two women. I got my repeat prescription, ordered it for next month, and then I crossed over the road and looked in a charity shop because I wanted to get a couple of DVDs to watch. So I went into the charity shop, I think it was Shelter, and I got some DVDs and some other bits which I'll show you later as well. Then I, Crystal, walked home over the Strood Bridge on the icy pavements because the bus ticket was not an all-day bus ticket. My son had got a return from Rochester to Chatham, so I didn't have a all-day bus ticket, so I had to walk over the bridge in the ice, walk over it. I'm not a young woman, but I'm not elderly either. I'm 54. So I walked over the Strood Bridge and went straight into my flat, checked my bank account to see if I could put some gas on my gas card. So I wrote some Christmas cards out to my family in Gloucestershire, and I wrote a Christmas card to my mum. And I walked into Rochester High Street, posted my cards into a post box, and I walked into Rochester post office, which is doubled up as a chemist. I stood in a queue. There was a couple in front of me, a young couple, and they walked off. The woman went, let's go and do this, because there was a long queue. So they both turned round. The woman went, she walked up. They walked off together and walked out the shop. Then a coloured lady stood behind me with a nice hat on, and I waited to be served. I finally got served. I put £35 on my card, you have to pay cash. So I had to withdraw cash from my account, then give the cash and pay for the gas. I said thank you. I noticed some fragile tape with the word AG sticking out, AG. So I thought I need some of that to wrap my presents with. So I got hold of the sellotape. I went to the counter. I said, how much is this? She said, you've got to pay at the counter, at the chemist counter. So I took the tape over to the chemist counter, and this woman smiled at me with brown stains all over her teeth. Brown stains, like she was a smoker. So she had brown stains all over her front teeth and down the side, and she smiled and I could see her brown stains on her teeth. She said the tape is $2.69. I bought the tape. I walked out of the shop, walked up the high street where my son does his videos of Rochester High Street. He wasn't with me. I went into the Demeltzer charity shop, and it seemed like the female staff were ignoring me. They weren't being very professional or polite. They had their backs to me, and they wasn't like the guy in the chemist who said, hold on a minute, Miss Marshall, I'll be over in a moment. So the women were like ignoring me. So I got a couple of books, and I got this, dropped it, this gingerbread man toy here. Put it on the desk. They didn't acknowledge me. They took the items. She was training a girl behind the desk, so they didn't even offer me a bag for my items. I wasn't even spoken to. There was no eye contact. I didn't get cross. I walked out of the shop with no bag, holding this underneath my arm. Then I went to the ladies' toilets in Rochester. I'm a woman, so I went to the female toilets because I was dying for a pee. Came in, came out, walked past Rochester railway station and came back into my flat. Then I potted about a bit. I took Max out for a walk in the ice and the snow conditions. I took him out just for a walk around the block. And I again came back into my flat. That's the bin store banging. It's going to start Max off. Someone's banging about in the bins and it's made Max bark. Then I had a call from my son. Do you want to meet me? And then the buzzer rang. The buzzer rang. It was my son, and he was coming up. He came up. I let him in. He came up the stairs and he came into my flat, and he used my toilet. He went into my toilet and used it. My son did. He said his Costa's open. I said no, it's probably shut because it was gone 5 o'clock. So I made my son a cup of coffee in my flat. And my son stayed with me till 12 o'clock at night. Well, it was about 12:30 at night while he was waiting for a lift to get home. Because the trains weren't running. If the trains had been running, my son would have gone back earlier. But he was stranded again because there was no trains. So he had to wait till 12:30 midnight to get a car home. My son is not in the flat this morning. He's gone home. He had a lift last night. So I'm on my own in my flat. I've been sick all night. I've had a bad tummy. I haven't been feeling well. And my mum rang at 8:08 and I hadn't been to bed properly. I'd been ill all night. And I've got no credit on my phone to call my mum back, so I'm stuck in my flat all day, okay? See you later.